Hey, I'm Mike. Welcome back to Discover Crypto. In today's video, I'm going to cover Efinity. This is a return to the first batch of 5 Polkadot Parachain auctions. Efinity has emerged in recent days as a potential contender for the 5th slot. I think the 4th is pretty much going to be a lock for Parallel Finance, but there looks to be a 3-horse race for the 5th slot. So I think it's worth analysing Efinity and see what it's got to offer as a late player before the second batch of auctions occur. Just to remind you, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, and that cryptocurrency trading is risky. Okay, I'm starting on parachains.info. This is lots of excellent information and research on the current Polkadot projects and auctions. As we can see, Moonbeam, Akala, and Astar respectively have won the first 3 auctions, and Parallel Finance here in 4th place looks to be a lock for the 4th. And the 5th auction bidding will begin next week, and that will conclude the current round before we then have auctions 6 to 10 in the next couple of weeks. We've already covered Clover Finance and Manta Network. Efinity has emerged ahead of Manta Network and is now closing in on Clover Finance. So this is shaping up to be a potentially very interesting 5th auction. When we look at Efinity, we can see that this is an NFT and gaming project, which is maybe a bit more of an exciting option because DeFi hasn't been doing all that well outside of individual projects like Luna, and that's most likely because of the US government going after decentralized finance projects and wanting to enforce regulation. So with Efinity, at least it's maybe a more fun and less stressful play to go after. Enjin is the backer of Efinity. So Efinity is going to be Enjin's play on Polkadot and in the Polkadot ecosystem. And Enjin, for the uninitiated, are the creators of the ERC-1155 NFT standard. There are more than 20 investors backing Efinity, and these include the likes of Arrington XRP and Hashed. And after doing a little digging on Enjin's site, we can see here in March that Polkadot, parachains.info, their information is in fact correct, and that there was a private sale that sold out. This occurred in March of 2021, and it raised $18.9 million. And among the other notable investors were Crypto.com, DFG, Blocktar, Hypersphere. There are lots of good investors here. I feel like after the DeFi Alliance, you're maybe starting to go downhill. I'm not going to sling any mud, but I wouldn't pay any heed to the investors at the bottom of the list, and that would count for their involvement in any other projects. That's all I'll say. So Enjin is an NFT project that has use cases in art, sports, music, gaming, collectibles. You can tokenize things from the real world. They have worked with the likes of Microsoft, also Samsung and BMW projects have been done. So Enjin has worked with blue chip companies outside of the crypto sphere. In terms of crypto companies, Enjin has also partnered with the likes of Binance, OKX, Swissborg, CoinMarketCap, and CoinGecko. And one of the biggest developments, as I explained, was Enjin introducing the ERC-1155 token standard for NFTs. So Enjin really is a powerhouse when it comes to the development of the infrastructure for NFTs. So their involvement in the Polkadot ecosystem is certainly potentially an exciting development moving forward. When looking at the Efinity project, some of the key numbers here, we're looking at a block time of 6 seconds. There's promising 20 million mints of NFTs per second, 120 million NFT mints or transfers per block. That's when they're all batched up. So this is a digital white paper here for the Efinity project, and it explains that Enjin was founded as early as 2009 by Maxim Blagoff and Vitek Radomski. So Enjin has literally gone through every bear market imaginable in the crypto space, And they waited patiently over several years to finally do an initial coin offering in 2017. And that was for the Enjin coin, which has the ticker ENJ. Efinity will have EFI. So as explained here in the white paper, Efinity is Enjin's infrastructure and operations on Polkadot. And one of the biggest use cases listed here is that Efinity will provide a much more cost-effective way for the everyday user to get involved in NFT trading. It quotes here a $7+ fee for moving a token on Ethereum, but we all know it's much more than that right now. And when it comes to minting, it's hundreds or thousands of dollars. So Efinity is something that the average person who wants to get very involved with NFTs very much needs. There's going to be a parachain, providing that one is won in the auctions. There is also planned a cross-chain bridge between Ethereum and Polkadot, and this will allow the support of various ERC token standards from Ethereum, such as ERC-1155 and 1155. There is also going to be a marketplace for trading. I also know that Efinity is going to offer staking and DeFi elements. There's also going to be governance, where holders of EFI in a wallet will be able to vote on proposals and referendums. There's even a roadmap here, so you can take a look at what phases have been undertaken. I believe that phase 1 has been completed. Phase 2, that looks to be where we are now, because most of these developments haven't been completed yet. When it comes to the tokenomics, distribution is where things get interesting. So the EFI, which is the native token for Efinity, is actually already available as an ERC-20 token on Ethereum, and it can be bought on some exchanges, which I'll mention later. There have been a number of sales. There has been a seed round, an early round, a strategic round, and a public sale. So of the 20 billion, so there's 2 billion tokens that have been minted for Efinity. Just to confirm, there is no inflation listed. I didn't find any mention of inflation in this white paper as far as I know. So fingers crossed, because inflation just means further dilution of tokens. 5% went in a public sale, 5% in a strategic round, 7% in an early round, and 3% in a seed round. That equates to 20% of the tokens, which isn't terrible for when it comes to sales for investors. I think what's interesting to look at is that the price per token was 20 cents for the public sale, and we'll never get anywhere near, surely we'll never get near anywhere the private sale rounds and prices, which range from 5 cents to 7.5 cents. But I think it would be very interesting if EFI were to ever dip down towards that 20-cent level. It could represent a steal when it comes to getting involved in the project. The white paper is also, what I like about it is that we have a clear release schedule. The private sale, you can potentially monitor these dates moving forward and go and potentially try and snipe some dips in case the private investors. So the private investors are up significantly on what they paid for, because EFI is trading above $1 currently. So when there are unlocks, there could potentially be a little bit of selling pressure and the price could get pushed down. So maybe if you wanted to come in, monitor these dates and check in on the project and see if you can't get some lower entry points in the future, because in the initial circulation of EFI, we were talking about 100 million, I believe. So that's only like 5% of all the tokens. So there are many more due to be unlocked. And this can cause sell pressure in the future. It can push prices down until the demand eventually increases for a project. So it's all worth monitoring, I believe. You can also see just a really clear breakdown. There's also the public sale vesting, company, team, ecosystem, staking and pools. And also there's going to be monthly or linear vesting over 2 years for anyone who contributes to the Parachain loan. Now, looking at the crowd loan, there is a crowd loan page here. Some centralized exchanges are also getting involved. I know Binance and Kraken have been supporting the Parachain auctions, and they are the simplest way for the everyday user to get involved, because Polkadot JS and some of the wallets, which is the route I've gone, can be tricky to use, and you're learning new systems and methods and so what to claim tokens after you've contributed. So there are fees usually involved with the centralized exchanges, but it is a much simpler way. If you aren't such a strong tech user, maybe that's the best option for you. So whenever it comes to the EFI rewards, we're talking about a reward pool of 200 million EFI, which is 10% of the total supply. Now, although Clover is offering 20% of its total supply, the reward pool is still 200 million. And this is backed by more of a blue chip project. So I wouldn't worry that you're getting 10% versus 20%. You're still getting a share of a 200 million pool. And this is a very promising project based on the narratives of NFTs and gaming and Metaverse that we have seen in 2021. So as I explained, there's going to be linear vesting over 96 weeks. And the contribution is basically every contributor is going to have their dot divided by the total dot contributions out of the 200 million pool. So the rewards calculator, I don't think it's completely accurate, because when I'm inputting 5 dot here, it's trying to say that there's 173. But if we look at this tab here for Efinity, we can see that based on there being approximately 3.7 million dot contributed of the 50 million crowd loan cap, that's about 54. So it's more like 270 EFI per dot. So please do not take it for gospel on the rewards calculator that you see there. I would recommend going to parachains.info, seeing how many dot are currently contributed, and then multiplying that by how many dot you contribute. Just to be clear, the minimum amount of dot that can be contributed in a crowd loan for any project is 5. On Efinity, I was on the Twitter account, and it feels like it's mostly retweets, and that there are still work to be done building up the marketing teams and whatnot. So this is a project that I do think it's much more in its infancy compared to Enjin. However, it does have the backing of Enjin and resources, I'd imagine. So hopefully it can scale up quicker than some of the other new projects on Polkadot. Interestingly, this might be a key reason why Efinity could be worth backing and might win the 5th slot, because DFG, which is one of the investors, so they've come in and contributed 200,000 dot to the crowd loan. So there could be more venture capitalists jumping in to back EFI who are already associated with the project. So that's quite interesting. With Efinity, the information is currently available on CoinMarketCap if you want to check out the circulating supply, which is just under 170 million of a 2 billion max supply. The market cap is just over 200 million. The fully diluted market cap, we're talking 2.4 billion. So there's a huge disparity there. And that's based on the fact that, we haven't even reached 10%. The circulating supply isn't even 10% of the total supply yet. So token unlocks could potentially bring the price down if the demand isn't there to soak up the unlocks. So we could see Efinity dropping down, but I'll do a wee bit deeper price analysis in a moment. I just want to show you Enjin first for comparison. So with Enjin, the max supply is 1 billion. It's half of what Efinity is. The circulating supply is 8.39 million, a market cap of 2.3. Enjin is more widely circulated and available. It's better known, there's more demand. So I wouldn't really be looking for EFI to flip in Enjin in price, certainly based on the fact that the total supply will eventually be double. But it's interesting nonetheless. Another project I would say to look out for is RMRK. This is good for comparing. This is a Kusama NFT project on Metaverse and gaming. So this is going to be on Kusama. There's a tiny supply of 9.5 million of 10 million max supply. This is much more Kusama focused, and the reason because of the low circulation, this is why we get such a high price on this one. But I think RMRK will be competing in Polkadot once the connection is available between Polkadot and Kusama. So that's worth bearing in mind. But nevertheless, EFI will have the backing of Enjin, whereas something like RMRK won't. Going back to EFI, I just want to point out where it is currently available. So for anyone who's wanting to acquire EFI, we have Gate.io as an option. Crypto.com is arguably the most reputable. It's also available on OKX, Poloniex, MEXC. I actually have a MEXC account, so if I want to monitor the price on EFI, I'll potentially get involved there. Anyone who's getting it on Uniswap or SushiSwap, you are paying much higher gas fees, just so you know. Now onto the chart here. With EFI, one of the best and longest term charts I found was from OKX. This is on TradingView. So I was looking back at the dates, and on the 4th of August, there was a token unlock. So everyone, and this was the first one. So all of the early investors, they obviously dumped on the market, and this opened at around about $3.30 and tanked all the way down to $1.20. Had a bit of a rebound up to $1.87. It's probably more of a dead cat bounce, and then it sort of ground down, suffered through the summer months like most did, and it has come up, down, up. So we did get a higher high here compared to November. However, it looks like we've got a lower low here when you compare December with November. There is a resistance line here. I've got a Fibonacci retracement drawn, so it looks like we're playing in this ballpark here of around about $1.07. So this could grind down further. Even it could find support at around 93 to 94 cents here, and then maybe we'll eventually see it break through the resistance line, and it could come up and start challenging some of these points of support, which would now be resistance. Right, my final thoughts. Gaming, Metaverse and NFTs have been huge in 2021, and we haven't really seen mass market adoption yet. I feel like we're on the cusp and it's threatening, but we still might need another year or two. And so monitoring projects like EFI could be worthwhile. Polkadot needs gaming and NFT and Metaverse plays. And with EFI, if you're getting involved with this, it's more about the infrastructure and software, but that can be pretty cool because that's potentially going to get you involved in maybe more projects rather than focusing on one specific game or Metaverse game that chooses to release on Polkadot. With EFI, there is a token already available, and that means you can potentially look at the price regions and figure out, maybe you're going to get $1 for every EFI you receive, which sort of lets you put a price on what you're contributing. But as I've explained in all of these videos, you're going to have to lock up your Polkadot for 2 years. You have to be comfortable with this. You have to say to yourself, these are going to be out of the way. I will get them back, but they'll be out of the way. I can't sell them while they aren't in my possession. So you might have to suffer through price decreases, see increases go up and be unable to sell. But if you're comfortable with that, then it's your decision to make. I am very interested in Efinity. I haven't contributed to Manta. There's concern in the UK over privacy coins, so I'm going to buy out of that. Although I'm in the north of Ireland, I'm in the UK jurisdiction. Clover has some cross-chain compatibility, which is interesting, but I'm much more interested in Efinity, and I think I'm going to have to think long and hard about this before the 5th auction closes. With Efinity, I'm also going to be looking at this in the longer term. I've identified the public ICO price as 20 cents. So if we're getting down towards those ICO prices in a bear market, this could be an excellent buy because we'd be way down from the all-time highs of this project and even the dollar ranges. So yeah, Efinity is one with potential. The Enjin backing is huge. The investors who are involved really are a cherry on top. I think with Efinity, it's got the ingredients to be Enjin, but on Polkadot. Now, it won't hit as high a price as Enjin, in my opinion, based on the total supply will eventually be double. So we need to sort of see the token unlocks soak up the demand. So that's what's going to be interesting moving forward for EFI. If that doesn't happen, it could be beneficial. So I'm not going to rush in and certainly buy this now. I might not even buy it if it dropped to $1. I might want to see it in the cents range personally, because there are token locks incoming. We can see these for ourselves. So there are potentially opportunities to be sniped here. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. I'm going to return with further Polkadot videos in the future for the next batch of auctions, and I'll cover other projects outside of Polkadot when I find anything that is interesting. So please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed, and thank you very much for watching. My name's Mike and this is Discover Crypto.